thinking. There's a lot going on in the world, and I thought I would pull a few cards and let's examine a few issues. Let's take the state of affairs in the weather right now. I think that affects everyone. We have drought. California didn't plant a lot of crops this year because they didn't have the water to maintain them. Yellowstone's closed because of flooding. Then we have the intense heat wave that's taken over about half of the country. So this is only expected to increase. Our weather and our nation both are in peril. And we've got to fix one to fix the other. And these aren't things we can do overnight. We should have been taking action years ago. But greed and the quest for power has stopped that. Now we're at a tipping point. We don't have another few years to wait. Can you imagine each year getting worse? Can you imagine if the summers are this hot, how cold the winters are going to be? First card is our Three of Cups. No, the Five of Cups. I'm sorry, the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups talks about looking to the past and thinking that everything was so much better in the past and not understanding that everything we do has consequences. And our living fat and happy and ignorant in the past has led us to the consequences today. Then we have the Eight of Wands. This is the call to action. This is what I was saying. We have to take action now. We don't have another few years to wait. Things are possible. We can revamp our energy systems. We can revamp our lifestyles to live more simple, yet more fulfilling. We won't be like mindless rats in a maze trying to always find the cheese, and it's constantly being moved so that we're never satisfied. That's a pretty well assessment of today's society. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles, or discs. Now this talks about gain, but it talks about in our economy, when we switch to a green economy, there will be a lot of jobs. There will be a lot of money to be made in employment and investment and in infrastructure. We have to do this. This is what's good for us. It will not only save us, it will reshape us into something much more sustainable and much more economic and much more prosperous. What we have to do is be careful of how we spend our gains and invest wisely in what we do. We cannot take extra money and throw it away on, say, the military budget. We already spend more than all the other developed countries combined on the military. And the reason we spend so much on the military budget is not to keep us safe, but it's to keep selling weapons to smaller nations that feel threatened by larger nations. We've built our economy on a war machine. We need to take that money that we're making off of our war machine and invest it in peace for us and our citizens, and shut the war machine down. Beat the swords into plowshares, as Christians are so often fond of saying. It's time to reshape. We're being reshaped by the world and by things that we think we can't control. But we control a lot more than we think. We have been led to believe, we have been taught to believe, and it's been reinforced in every decision we've tried to make in our lives, that we have no power. That only the rich have power. Only the elite have power. That's what they want us to believe. But why do you think we call them the 1% or the 2%? That's because that's how small they actually are. They build everything on our backs. They build their wealth, they build their power on our backs. Our backs is regular people. We work for them, we give them the wealth. We give them the sweat of our brow and make them rich and let them brush crumbs off the table down to us. We all know it didn't trickle down. What we've gotten out of the system Reagan instituted is a system of American oligarchs, no less greedy or powerful than the Russians. An oligarch is a rich person that uses their power and wealth to control and enrich themselves through their government. They more or less have bought and paid for the government. Tell me that's not going on in America today. This has got to stop. Like I said, they've built their wealth on our backs. And they brush a few crumbs off the table for us to scoop up and say, "Please, sir, thank you, sir, may I have some more?" No. When we stand up, they no longer have our backs to build upon. They no longer have our sweat and labor to grow wealthy and fat on and give us the crumbs. We have allowed them to become this way, and we have given up our power. Now it is time for us to remember our power. Remember that we are the majority, not the few oligarchs that control social media or industry or government, or the oligarchs that are in power in Washington. They are only this top little point of the iceberg. It's all of us, the 90%, beneath the surface, the silent majority, like they used to say. It's not the people in MAGA hats running around, squeaking like a big deal, thinking they're going to get the grease. No, it's silence. The silent majority, us underground. When we've had enough, we will change it. What I'm saying is, we've had enough. We have to change it. We can do this easy, we can do this hard. The earth is teaching us one way. The earth is treating humans like a cancer and wiping us out as we tear down the forests and jungles and melt the caps on both ends of the world. We release viruses and bacteria that have lain dormant and inactive, and for which we've built no defenses, no natural immunities. These are coming at us. Earth is taking care of herself. She's raging. She's burning out the cancer. She's drying up the life spring. She's washing away the infections. We can do something. We can do a lot of things. And now is the time to do it. We've sat on our hind end too long. We've rested on our laurels as being the richest, most powerful nation in the world. We've rested in our hubris like we couldn't be touched. but we're suffering like everyone else in the world. We can just go a little longer in pain than most of the world. Doesn't mean the pain's not going to come. And we're already feeling it. But now is not the time to numb ourselves with entertainment, drugs, senseless violence. Now is the time to come together and change it. And the only way we're going to change it is if we do come together. And it starts from the bottom up. Just like the majority of us are hidden away, we're the ones that have to start the change. Nothing good has ever come from the top down. Nothing. All change starts at the grassroots and rises up. And you know from talking to your family and friends how fed up they are about what's going on. How fed up they are about the state of the situation of they're in with employment, with cost of living, with just the daily stresses of life have become so hard that violence has become an acceptable, hear me, an acceptable response to the pressure and stress of modern world. And our politicians tell us that that's right, that we're just supposed to go ahead and bear it, that we have to sacrifice our children, that we have to sacrifice our citizens in every public space to the gun lobby and to the greed of the politicians that take the gun lobby's money and take and buy stock in these arms manufacturers. This gun culture is a direct shakeout or a direct child, a bastard child of the military arms industry. And what are we doing? We are paying with the blood of our children and our citizens. We are paying the blood karma of our people for what we have done in the name of freedom on every continent in the world. All the civilian casualties. All that is coming home to roost. Don't like hearing that? It's true. We've bought and paid for this life that we all enjoy, this top of the world, first-class standard of living. We've paid for it in blood. And now the price is the blood of our own. When is enough enough? I say now. I say I am too old for this shit to still be going on. Going on and accelerating to the point where we are almost to the point of losing our democracy. And if we don't pull our heads out of our TVs and social media, we are going to turn around and find out that we're living in some kind of hellscape, bastardized version of The Handmaid's Tale or 1984. We've had warnings. We know. We know what's possible. We know what the human spirit is capable of at its lowest point. But we also know what the human spirit is capable of when it comes together in a positive way. To build and not tear down. When it comes together to unite in one force to bring light, knowledge, goodness to the whole world. Don't let them lie to you. There's enough for everyone. There's enough food, there's enough land, and money is a social construct anyway. But say money. There's enough money for everyone. There's not enough money for greed. And we've got to get over that. We've got to get over wanting and having to have the latest and greatest and best and finest of everything. We are being distracted from our true purpose of being here. We are being distracted from what really makes us happy and whole. We are being distracted from what soothes our soul and feeds our spirit. We are being distracted from relating to each other. And we wake up and it's too late. It's your choice. It's your choice. Like Jim Hightower of Texas said, the only thing in the middle of the road is a yellow line and roadkill. You have to take a stand. You have to make a choice. It's your life. You might hand over control of it to someone else, a religious leader or a politician or a business leader, and thinking by following them and their so-called success that it's going to rub off on you. But you have to answer for what you don't do in your life, for when you don't take responsibility for your own actions. And fear doesn't get you out of it. There's no such thing as fear of failure. Failure is growth. Starting over is growth. It's not the end, it's just a new beginning. Right now we're in a period of growth. And as we grow, we push aside all that dead mess from our past lives, from this dying society. We push up like green plants, reaching toward the light, and what nourishes us, what feeds our souls, will feed our bodies. It's not going to get better for a while. We've got times even harder to come than what we've been through now. We will see blood in the streets. We will see assassinations of not just politicians, but of activists and celebrities and anybody else who dares to poke their head up and take a stand and make their way known. That's the way things happen. And everyone will come together and stop it. Change it. Make it right. Make it whole. Because we're living in a broken world. We're living in a dying society. And as elders, it's our responsibility to turn over something better to our children. And we're failing at that. We have to listen to these children. It's their world we're destroying. Their future we're killing. They have new ideas. We have to listen to it and give them the power we demanded back when we were their age. Have we learned nothing? With age should come wisdom, but not always. So let's slow down, take a good, long, hard look at where we are, where it's leading us, and where we want to go, and how to get there. I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you one hint. We're all in this together. One home, one family, and one love. Peace out, guys.